I am in the season of changing my life. And to be honest, I really feel like that I'm there every single season. But this one feels especially special because I'm keeping a promise to myself, not only in my business, but with my health, with everything that I'm doing with my fitness. And it's really interesting. I feel like, we are in spring. I feel like this is where people are like, let's finish the year strong. Let's lock in. Let's do all the things that we say that we're going to do. And something that I have witnessed, working in this business, but remember, like previous to this, I was fitness. I have worked with people since when? I've worked with clients since 2008. That's a very long time. And it's really interesting that there is this like process to change. And where people usually fall off is it's like the excitement and thinking about the thing. And then when it comes to actually the process after making the decision, right? So it's like, okay, cool. This is the change that I want in my life. This is the change I want in my body or my business. What happens after you make that decision? It's really interesting. You see this a lot. If you ever in like a coaching space or even online or with your business friends, the amount of people that can really buy into that excitement stage. They're like, I'm incredible. Let's do this. This is amazing. I can see the potential. And then after that, it's like something happens and they almost fall off. And you don't want to be the person that falls off after the decision is made. Because what I want you to see it as this, is that let's pretend that you've signed up for a marathon, okay? You can get really excited about the prospect of running a marathon. You are like, I'm a marathon runner. How incredible am I? You are not a marathon runner until you've run the marathon. You can get so excited about the potential. You can get so excited about the future, but none of that is true. It only lives as this little mind movie, if you think about it. And you need to then make a decision of, do I want the thing that I want as my mind movie, or do I want the thing that I want as my actual real life, as my reality? And I know that you are going to say, I want it as my reality. And that is what we're going to talk about today, because we want to make sure that, especially, I know you love this podcast. I know you come and you listen and I hype you up. I don't want you to only feel hopeful when you are listening to me. I want you, when there is no one cheering you on, there is no one in your ears, that you can still do that yourself and that you still show up with the action that is going to give you the results that you want. It is going to take you closer to the life that you want, the goals that you want, the business that you want. And that it is not going to live as a mind movie anymore. It is going to live as your reality. So what we're going to do right now is I want you to get really clear on something that you actually want. Pay attention to the thoughts that come up. Quite often, what you'll do here is you will think about what you actually want and you'll dial it down. I see this all the time. I had a client say this week actually. She was like, oh, I wanted to make this month, but I don't think it's going to happen because it's already the 10th of the month. And I was like, why are we writing off what we want? I want you to just be like, this is what I want. I'm declaring it now. Even if it feels impossible, even if it feels like time is running out, even if it feels like that it's just not going to happen, what do you want? Get really clear. For me, what do I want? I want to make $1 million in a year, and I want to have the best fucking relationship that makes everyone so jealous. I want the sexiest life. I want the most amazing life. Now, I want you to think about your default mode when you do this. So when you're thinking about the outcome that you want, are you usually talking about it with friends? Do you think, oh, okay, cool, this is what I want. Let me go and listen to my favorite podcast, or let me go to Pinterest, or let me go and do this, or let me go for a walk and like really anchor into this reality, okay? So I want you to think about that. And then I want you to think about like that drop-off point of what happens next. And there's always going to be something. And usually the drop-off point is it's going to be one of two things. One, you are using hope as a strategy instead of actually having a strategy, meaning I want to make $1 million a year, but I haven't gone any further than that. I'm just thinking about making $1 million a year. To which I'm going to say, if that is what you want, you have to have a business plan. You have to have something written down that shows you a path of what you want. And then there is the second option, which I think you may be falling into, and it's that you know the goal, you know what to do, but what's actually happening is you're not keeping a promise to yourself. Do you think it's that? Because I think this is where sometimes our goal and what we want feels so far into the future. We are a visionary thinker. That is why we are an entrepreneur. We know that we are not going to hit our goal by Friday. We know that. And if you listen to me and you've been listening to me for a while, you won't goal set like that. You are all about the stretch goal. So because our goal feels so far off into the future, it feels like that the choice we make today doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect our future. But the problem is if that is your default mode to how you live your life, every single day you are choosing not to have the future you have by doing the complete opposite. And this is where, it's so much about removing the instant gratification and remembering who you are going to be. And this is something I tell myself all the time, is if I'm feeling a bit miserable or uncomfortable, or if I'm having to battle stuff that's coming up, this is a good thing. Because what it's doing is it's breaking me out of my default mode, because my default mode is what I have been doing. And what I have been doing has given me the life that I have today. So if I want a completely different business, if I want a completely different life, I need to do something different. And because I'm doing something different, that is going to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to be hyper aware of everything that I'm doing. It's kind of like when you are, I don't know, maybe you're wearing a different pair of shoes. You normally put on the same pair of shoes. They're really comfortable. Like, you know how they're going to feel. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're wearing heels, or maybe you're just wearing something different. And you're really aware of everything. You're aware that you have to walk down the stairs differently. You're aware, oh, hold on, I don't want to knock the heel. I don't want to scuff them. Okay. That is really like what living your life looks like when you decide that you are going to show up differently. And this comes back to who you are today, the decisions that you make and the thoughts that you believe. And this is a process that I'm in at the moment. I'm in it with my love life. I really want a relationship, but I'm so hyper aware that the thoughts that I have about love and men are really keeping me stuck. And they're really preventing me from the life that I want, because what I'm doing is I'm looking back at all my past experiences and I'm projecting that into my future. And, that is not going to give me the life that I want. It's the same in business. So much of us look at what we've done in the past and we are designing our future. There's no way I can have a launch and make this much money because look at what I've done in the past. There's no way that I can have a month that's 3x what I've done because look at what I've done in the past. It's so interesting, but the problem is if you are orienting yourself and you are looking forward, but you are actually designing your future by looking at the past, you are always going to have the life and the business that you have. If you want something completely different, this is where you have to draw a line in the sand and you have to be like, today is different because I decided it's going to be different. This is what I am working towards and this is what I'm going to do. And I understand that I'm going to feel uncomfortable and I understand that shit is going to come up and I'm not going to make excuses. This is a huge, huge, huge thing. And I want to say too, this is where if you know that you have a really good plan, what you then can do is if you know that this is reverse engineered to your success, you then make action the metric and not the result. So what I mean by this is let's pretend that you want to grow your business and you are working towards, your beautiful 20K months. That's your goal. Your goal is not to actually be like, okay, cool. If I want 20K months, what's that broken down into a day? Let me go and make that. All right. Just put that aside for a second. The money will come as a byproduct of good action. So when we want to make that money, what do we have to do? Okay, cool. Do we have to have sales conversations? Do we have to be visible? Like, if you follow my goals process, okay, cool. We have the goal. What are we selling? Who are the people? How are we selling it? And we repeat and we repeat and we repeat until we have the business and the life that we want. So for you, it's like, okay, cool. Like if I was doing this and I wanted my 20K months, what would I do? I would look and see, okay, cool. What am I selling? I get really clear on that. I would make that very, very, very clear and I would not dilute focus selling the buffet of shit that I have. I would make it really easy to pay me and I would focus on the big ticket items. So I would focus on selling Business Bang. That's three in a month. Do I think I can sell 3 things? Fuck yes, I think I can sell 3 things. Then what I would do, I would be like, okay, cool. Who are the people? I would get really clear on who this target customer is. Who are they? What do they want? What are their needs? What are their desires? Knowing this, what content do I need to put out there? What do I need to say to magnetize them to me? This is not about agitating pain points. This is about, for me, I love to vision like a new reality. I love to give people light bulb moments. I know people like don't do educational content because, people won't buy in. Sometimes educational content is what people need because they've been sold hopes and fucking dreams without a strategy. So I'll do that and then I'll sell. And the thing is, you may get to a point where you're like, well, I'm doing all of that. I'm doing really good content. I'm doing this. Okay, cool, go sell. So what I'll then do is I'll be like, okay, cool. If I know that what is preventing me now is sales, if I've done all of this, I need to then contact or follow up, 20 to 50 people a day. And that will be my focus. And then I know as a byproduct of that, the sales will come. The sales will absolutely come. And if you're like, I don't have that many people to follow up. Okay, cool. What can you do to then have people to follow up? Are you running an event? Are you doing a lead magnet? Like, what are you doing? Let's think about this strategically. Because you can see here when we said about at the start of the episode, around this whole, it's one thing to desire, but if you are just like falling off after that, like, this is what I want, this is how I want things to look, the problem that you're going to have is you're going to be in this loop. And what is really bad about this loop is it's like you have no follow through because you're either not making the plan or you're not following the plan because you can't keep a promise to yourself. And then it's just affirming that you can't do it. And you really stay stuck in this, like, this is what I want. This is how I want things to look. But what is most important is what actually comes after that decision and the action that comes after that decision. And what I want to say is it's like, you know that you are going to be in that growth point when you are battling sometimes stuff that feels uncomfortable, okay? Conversations that feel uncomfortable. That growth point where it feels like, fuck, I don't know what else to do. Cool, you are uncomfortable. You are at that growth point. But the problem is you are going to be destined to always be in exactly the same spot as you are with a dream that feels so far in the future if we don't have like a strategy to move forward with that. And this is hard work. This is why so many people will never be successful. This is why so many people will never have an exceptional life, because it feels really easy to want something and not follow through. Anyone can do that. A child can do that. Anyone can fucking do that. But it takes a really exceptional person to see exactly who they want to be and then create the plan to follow through and show up every single day to make that happen. You have within your bones to be someone so exceptional. I truly believe that. But you need to ask yourself, what am I doing today? Now, it's going to look different every single day, but this is where, you just have to make it work. You have to make it work. The amount of times, like, I'm trying to get fit at the moment. And what the fuck am I mean? I'm trying to get fit. I'm getting fit at the moment. I really have this block sometimes around getting dressed. I've always been like it. If I have to put on my activewear sometimes, it's too much. So I'll go for a walk in a dress. I will do like a little workout in my bed. I'll go on the treadmill in my pajamas, but I am not going to be the person that lets me down in my life. I am not going to get to the end of the year and look at my life and be like, wow, you did fucking nothing. And the only person that stopped you from that is you. And if you are like that, this is where you can sit and have a pity party for yourself and then be like, okay, cool, I'm going to get excited again. Or you can just be like, nah, fuck that. That is really gross. I don't like that on me. That looks shit. It doesn't. No, we're going to take that and we're going to throw it in the bin and we're going to put on a different belief system and we're going to put on, most importantly, a really good set of actions post that. Hot stuff, I love you so much. I love this. I love you. Get excited. Do you know what is like, has really changed for me? My fears around aging. I used to always get really stressed about getting older and like time was running out. And I had this flip when I really could see an exceptional future for myself and how every day that I show up is taking me closer to that. How can I get worried about aging when this is what I'm working towards? How can I fucking get stressed about getting older when I know how good things can look? So that has been a really wonderful and powerful reframe. It's exciting. The future feels exciting. Even if there's nothing in my calendar, I don't need a fucking holiday. You know when people are like, oh, I've got nothing to look forward to. Get a better dream for yourself, right? Like, want more for yourself. You don't need a holiday or anything in your calendar to get excited. Your life is exciting. Your future is exciting. Oh, I love that. I love you more than, oh my God, the day, the weather, it is beautiful. It feels like, it's just like we are out of, I think, Melbourne winter. I say that now, watch me jinx myself. And it feels beautiful. It's like this, it's almost like a slight balminess. Oh, I just love it. Love you more than that. I love you more than it's so funny. I've got my sunglasses on now. I've got really quite like sensitive eyes and I always love to wear my sunglasses. I think because I feel like I'm incognito, I can kind of, even if I'm around like a lot of people, I still feel like that I have my little privacy bubble on. I love you more than my hair. We're having a good hair day. My hair is like finally growing back. I had this period, I think it was like after the huge stress of like my housing situation and life. And my hair was like falling out and then it was snapping off. And I had to like cut it off and it was really short. I've got all this like baby hair. I know if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see there is so much baby hair. Like it looks, I'm like fluff central. I love you more than there's this designer, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Rachel Donarth. So she does interiors. And when I say interiors, like furniture and like decor items, like mirrors and lamps, her stuff is just, it's really, really beautiful. And I think she's actually opening like a place in Melbourne, which I'm so excited about. I love stores. Oh my God, I love you more than like a good boutique, a good store. I love the fact that you can walk into a sensory experience. Like people who curate stores, that is an art. That is an art form. You think about it, the lights, the smells, the sounds, how everything looks. That is like an art exhibition. That is art. Every time I walk into a store and it's been laid out beautifully, I'm like, thank you for making my day better. How cool is it that we can walk into somewhere and have like a really beautiful experience? That's why I love, love, love retail. I love walking in and just feeling like my day got infinitely better by an experience that I've had. Gets me, I've got chills. Oh, I want to go shopping. Oh, I love it. I love you more than as well. I went to this like perfume event with my friend Emma from the Broke Generation, and I bought some perfume and I bought like a new perfume. So I normally wear Trudon LA, ELAE. And I bought, it was like a little sample of one, Trudon, I think is it 45 degrees? Yeah, so it's Trudon. It's like 45 degrees. Honey, Accord, Vanilla Absolute, and Benzoin. I don't even know what that is. It's a bit spenny though. So I just bought the 15 ml, but I want to buy the 100 ml, but it's $459. And I know some of you are like, it's worth it. I know, but girlfriend needs to renovate her bathroom. So I told myself we're approaching Give Good Email launch. And I do have a bit of a launch goal in mind. And I need to plan that. That's something I will say. That's actually what I'm going to do after this podcast episode is plan out GGE launch. And I've told myself that if I can get my launch goal, I will buy this for myself. I'm going to have to push a bit. So the fragrance pyramid top is bergamot and accord honey. The heart notes are vanilla absolute, Georgie wood, oh my God, I can't even speak. Madagascar CO2 vanilla. And then the fragrance pyramid bottom is benzoin resin and natural vanillin. I can't even speak. Hey, do you ever think about that sometimes when you're trying to like pronounce something and you're like, I'm just going to stop talking because this is really like not selling me for the fact that I can't pronounce anything. Actually, funny story. Hold on. We're going off on a tangent here. When I used to model, I would go to like agencies and they'd be like, oh, we really want to sign you, but just like your height. You know, it was like one thing back in like the early 2010s where you basically always had to be like 5'10", 5'11", and people like would not look at you. And I am like a ball hair above 5'8", so I'll say 5'8" or 5'9". If I feel like my hair's a little bit high, my posture's really good that day. And I remember going to this agency in Sydney. I think it was called Work Model Management. And they were really tiny. I think they still exist now. And it was more, they had models and they had like creatives, like photographers and stuff, really tiny. And when I went there, pretty much all of their girls were in Europe in Fashion Week. And I remember I submitted pictures and she wanted to see me. And that, I was like, oh my God, I was already blown away the fact that she wanted to see me. And I went for a casting. So normally with modeling, if you want to get an agency, what you'll do is you'll submit pictures. So you'll submit digitals and you'll sometimes get like an email back. It'll be like, hey, thank you, but no, thank you. They may recommend other agencies. They may give you some feedback. Sometimes you won't get anything. And if they like you, they'll say, come in. And when you go in, sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, okay. They'll look you up and down. They'll look at your book and they'll be like, thanks. And you'll know that you'll never hear from them again. Other times it will be really like long and drawn out, which is what you want. Like you want to be in there for a long time. So anyway, when I went to this like interview with work, I was in there for an hour, which is unheard of. And she just basically had me like walking up and down a room. I remember exactly what I wore. I had on these like Robert black like pump heels. And I had on these like tight witchery. They were like these stretch high-waisted pants and they were like really skinny. And they had these like little zips at the bottom. So they were really long and I kind of unzipped them. So they were kind of like over my feet a little bit. And I had on this Wheels and Doll Baby tank. It was like this bright red tank with this like print on the front and I had really straight hair. And I remember like walking up and down a room and she was like, okay, cool. Like keep your arms a bit straighter. Like imagine like you're holding shopping bags. Okay, cool. Now do this. And it was so interesting. Like I look back, I remember this so clearly. And how old was I? I would have been like maybe 18 or 19 and how she really taught me how to walk. And it's like, of course you're great at this. All your fucking girls are in Europe at the moment. And I remember she said to me, she was like, I really want to sign you, but I just don't know if we can get you work. Because like what they did was runway and I was really like print and catalog. And she said to me, she's like, you should get into acting. You know, it's just your height. It's your height. And it's so funny that I was like, I don't want to act. I don't want to act. Don't make me act. And I would get this all the time. And everyone's like, why don't you want to act? And I'm like, because I can't pronounce words. Modeling is easy. Modeling is just like a picture in a moment. Acting is hard. Acting is like sustained emotion. It's so funny that like the thoughts that you always go back to. And I always think about her saying this. And I always think about, oh my gosh, imagine if I was like an inch taller or 2 inches taller. Where would things be? Where would my business be? Would I have like gone to Europe? Like what would I have been doing? And yeah, we really went off track there. The little anecdote no one wanted, but the thing that you got anyway. Gosh, this is long. Hot stuff. I'm going to leave it there. And I will talk to you later. Remember, dream big. Hope is not a strategy because what is most important is what happens after the decision. Follow through. I love you, hot stuff. If you're craving more, make sure to subscribe to my email list, which you can find at professionalbabe.com. And word on the street, I give good email. Now go and take everything you've learned, get your hands dirty with it, and go and make some serious money.